while. Some of you have missed us. I know you've reached out, several of you. Some of us, or you, haven't even noticed that we were gone. But either way, apologize for delaying the videos the last couple days as we're trying to resort where these are going to be posted for the greater community. But what we have for you are 2 workouts for this weekend, all right? Usually we end on Friday, but we're going to have one for today and then one for the weekend. You know, play with it how you will. The first one we have is a 15-minute AMRAP, as many rounds and reps as possible, for which the sequence will be to perform 15 sumo deadlift high pulls, followed by 30 double unders, followed by 15 goblet squats, followed by 30 double unders. And then you'll continue this pattern for the duration of the 15 minutes. We'll go over each of the movements with equipment and modifications for that equipment, and then we'll talk about some body weight only options after, all right? So the first thing we have are 15 sumo deadlift high pulls. This is what the sumo deadlift high pull looks like. First we'll use a kettlebell, and then we'll show you what that could look like with the dumbbell. Let's watch 2 reps. Beautiful. We'll just set up here first. So we're looking for a stance with the feet outside shoulder width. We're then going to flex the hips and the knees to grab the kettlebell, keeping the back nice and flat. So kind of elongate that spine, chest upright. We'll have a bend in the knees, but the hips will be higher than the knee and the shoulders higher than the hips. And then we're looking for those shoulders to be directly over or slightly in front of the kettlebell. From here, we're going to break it down. What happens is that the athlete is going to drive through the heels to extend the hips and knees aggressively. Boom. Once the hips and knees extend, we want to be squeezing the butt and the quad in order to do that. We're going to put momentum on the kettlebell, for which we then shrug the shoulders, followed by a pull of the weight with those elbows finishing high and outside, and that dumbbell, or kettlebell rather, will be finishing right around, you can relax, right around collarbone height, all right? If we do this from the side, this is what 1 rep would look like. So just holding the setup first. Notice how that back position is nice and flat, and go, explode, and drive. Looking for those hips and knees to open prior to the pull, all right? That's the sumo deadlift high pull with the kettlebell, adding action of the hips to create momentum on the object. If we only have a dumbbell, we can do this single arm, and if that's the case, we'll break these up in half. So, 7 on one arm, 8 on the other, something of that nature. If you wanted to, you could do 14 reps to make it even if you're one of those people. But what these will look like is this. Looking for the dumbbell to be in the center of the body still. 1 hand on the dumbbell, athlete extends the hips and knees and drives that kettlebell or dumbbell up, all right? And really focus on the elbow driving high and outside and not finishing below the object. After that, we then proceed to our double unders, which we'll demonstrate still. You guys have seen this before, but again, a double under is 2 rotations of the rope in 1 jump. Looks like this. Let's see if we don't relax. All right. You can always scale that to single unders if you have a jump rope, and then we'll talk about the other options thereafter. Following that, we have the goblet or front squats. We'll show this with the kettlebell first. So the goblet squat, ideally it's best to have that handle downwards. Then we'll send those hips back and down, keeping the chest nice and tall, or as vertical as possible. Notice the crease of the hip is below the top of the knee. We'll demonstrate that from the side, and then stand. Let's watch 2 reps at speed from the side. 1, 2. Beautiful. Relax. And again, that squat stance, we're looking for the heels under the shoulders, all right? Generally speaking, those toes can be angled out just slightly. If we don't have if we have a dumbbell, we can do a goblet hold. All right, and still sending those hips back and down, and then standing all the way up. Or we could do a front rack hold. All right, and if you have light dumbbells or you just want to go a little heavier, we could always do this with 2 dumbbells in the rack position, all right? And then same thing, the athlete would go hips back and down to squat to depth, and then stand up all the way. And then you'll perform 30 more double unders and then repeat that pattern. Now, if we don't have weight, we have a couple options. What I want to emphasize for the sumo deadlift high pull is the pull. And it's really difficult to get a pulling position to replicate that movement pattern without weight or without a pull-up bar, all right? We want to try to emphasize the lats as well as the upper back. So one option you have is to perform 15 reverse scap push-ups, all right? What we're going to be looking for is those hands, the fingers are going to be pointing to the wall behind you, feet slightly out in front, and then the athlete's going to press those hips up towards the sky, but I want you to drive those hands down through the ground, all right? So try to raise the shoulders and elevate the shoulders slightly as you push through the ground. Let's watch 2 at speed. 1, 2, relax. And now, of course, this is also going to be a glute-driven movement, right? Which is what we want to emphasize in the deadlift portion, that sumo deadlift. That's a lot of glute and hamstring. But we're also going to be pressing through the floor to target the lat, which is a pulling position, which is what we're going to replicate in that high pull, all right? So it's not perfect, but it will make do. And then if we don't have a jump rope, we're just going to perform lateral hops, 30 reps as fast as possible, quick, bouncing on the balls of your feet. And then for the squats, we're just going to perform air squats, so no weight. Let's do it at about a 45-degree angle. So feet shoulder width apart, send those hips back and down, crease of the hip below the top of the knee, and stand up all the way. Or, if we're not very comfortable with the squat, alternating lunges, all right? We perform these several times. Let's watch 2 reps. That'd be 1 rep, 2 reps, and moving as quickly as possible, all right? And then in that lunge position, again, step out. We've emphasized it before, but looking for that back position to be as vertical as possible with the shoulder over the hip, and then this front shin generally vertical with the knee stacked over the heel. Relax, and then you'll perform lateral hops again. So those are your options for today. I'll summarize it again with weight, modify with body weight movements, 15-minute AMRAP, 15 sumo deadlift high pulls, 30 double unders, 15 squats, either goblet or front, and then 30 double unders. Move through that as many times as possible in that 15 minutes. Have fun, get after it, and we'll see you shortly with one more video.